Win by Ron Hornaday. Of course, two-time champion in the Truck Series, and he's a rookie.
Ladies
I don't know how you can call Ron there.
It is my great pleasure to introduce the king, Richard Petty. Gentlemen, start your engine.
With those words, the 20th race of the NASCAR Busch Series is ready to roll at Pikes Peak International Raceway in the shadows of Zebulon Pikes Mountain, about 25 miles south of Colorado Springs. In this thrilling NASCAR 2000 season, for Owensboro, Kentucky native Jeff Green, even the season-opening tumble in Daytona wouldn't be enough to derail his title hopes. After assuming the points lead just 8 races later, Jeff the Juggernaut has been almost unstoppable. With 6 poles and 4 wins, this Nesquik team holds a commanding 499-point lead over its nearest pursuer, teammate Jason Keller. Well, the good news for the competition here today is that Jeff Green did not capture his 7th pole of the year. The bad news for the competitors, he did scatter the track record and missed the pole by just 11 one-thousandths of a second, which means he will start on the front row alongside pole sitter Jeff Purvis. And even worse news for the competition, Jeff Green was among the fastest cars in half the hour despite complaining of a handling problem. Now, before we get this one away to Jeff Green, remember, this race a year ago provided the first-time Busch Series winner by the name of Andy Santerre. And today, 7 of the top 10 starters of this race have not won in the year 2000. 4 of those have never, ever visited a Busch Series victory lane.
The NASCAR Busch Series is the premier proving ground for racing talent. Last week, Jason Keller vaulted to second in the points, and the J-Man is looking at a career-best season. Elton Sawyer's runner-up finish at Nazareth now has the Lysol team reaching its stride. But the most recent winner on the Busch Series is Hornaday. From humble beginnings on ESPN's Winter Heat, the California native stormed the Craftsman Truck Series to capture the 96 and 98 championship. When you have a number 3 on your car, you're expected to win. Now, Hornaday has finally lived up to those expectations.
You know, folks, a lot of people were somewhat surprised that it took Ron Hornaday 26 races to win in the Busch Series. But keep in mind, there's a lot of variables. After all, he came to the Busch Series with his Craftsman Truck Series crew. And they have the brand new 2000 Monte Carlo, plus a new generation Goodyear tire. So a lot of things for this team to learn. But I'll tell you what, they've got a secret weapon today here at Pikes Peak, because they've got the very best car in the DEI stable. They've got Stepchild. This is a car that Steve Park used to win when he was in this series, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. used this car to win 8 different times. Well, last week, Ron Hornaday pulled old Stepchild out of the mail, and they are ready to go racing today. This car won at Nazareth, and he's going to work his way to the front today to see if he can get victory number 2.
ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports of the National Association for Stock Car Auto Racing, welcome you live to Pikes Peak International Raceway for the Napa Auto Care 250 for the Busch Series. Entering this event, Jeff Green has a 499-point lead on Jason Keller. There are some good battles, however, throughout the top 10. Only 11 points separate second from third, 9 separate fifth from sixth, and only 1 marker between 8th and 9th in the point standing. Beautiful day here in Colorado Springs, or just south of Colorado Springs. Let's take a look at the Suzuki starting lineup. On the pole with a brand new track record is Jeff Purvis, who qualified at 135.629. Alongside Jeff Green at 135.573. Back in the second row, Hermie Sadler, car number 30, and Jason Keller. Sadler also bested the previous track record held by Dave Blaney. Back in row number 3, we have Kevin Grubb and Hank Parker Jr. And Benny Parsons, as we take a look at the rest of the starting lineup, is it important to have an up-front starting position here?
I'm not really sure it is, Bob, because trying to find the handle to get around Pikes Peak International Raceway for these Busch teams has really been a struggle. The handle has been very elusive trying to find that thing.
They struggled yesterday morning in practice, and last night in a very abbreviated happy hour did not get but about 30 minutes of practice. So the winner could come from back in year or even back in 30th or 40th.
Back in the 10th row, we have Mark Green and Phil Parsons. Now, we have bright sunshine right now. However, the past 2 days, while it has started out as sunny, we have had heavy showers. In fact, a tornado was reported not too far from the racetrack on Thursday. And yesterday, we had a huge downpour of rain along with some hail. So the NASCAR officials are trying to get this race started as quickly as possible so that if we do have one of those late afternoon showers, the race will be over.
And there we see still some qualifiers. Action Lewis. Now we get to the provisional. Scott Gaylord in the 77 car this weekend. Jerry Gilchrist is here in the 15 car. There's Brad Baker in his first start in the NASCAR Busch Series this year.
Justin Labonte will have the final starting position. Brendan Gaughan failed to qualify for this event. Pace car is off. We're getting set to go. There's the green flag. And the Napa Auto Care 250 at Pikes Peak is on. Jeff Green has taken the lead from the pole sitter, Jeff Purvis, and Green will come down to lead lap number 1. He has led the most laps, 54 in last year's event here at Pikes Peak.
And his team car, Jason Keller, the red, white 57, has taken over second spot. Meanwhile, Hornaday back on the outside of Hank Parker Jr. trying to take over what must be about the 6th position.
Hornaday was the one that dropped down to the inside of the racetrack at the drop of the green flag to try to pick up positions on the low side, but now he's on the top side of the racetrack. And in a battle, a 3-wide battle for position, and that's Casey Atwood in the 27 car, but Hornaday has taken over that position, so Hornaday is now in 5th.
Casey Atwood, the Castro, number 27. Not about to give up that position. He's back on the inside, trying to get position on up. Meanwhile, a battle for the lead. Jason Keller, the Sedron car, drives on the inside of his teammate and takes the lead in turn 1.
So Green led the first 2, and now Keller takes over as the leader of the race with Jeff Purvis still running back there in the 3rd spot. Here's the side-by-side battles going on. That's Jason Leffler on the outside of the number 18 MBNA car, and on the inside, Hank Parker Jr. and David Green, and it looks like the 17 of Schuler battling for position.
And there comes Kevin Harvick in the 2 car. So right now, Hank Parker Jr. struggling, trying to get around the speedway.
9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th. Harvick there in the 2 car, a little bit wiggly going into the corner.
What happened? Jason Schuler came down and just cut him off. And he had to jump on the brakes to try to avoid hitting the 17 car, which he did, thankfully.
25 is Andy Santerre, who won this race last year here at Pikes Peak. Hank Parker Jr. in the 53, and then Blaze Alexander back in the 81. So we now settle back into a single file formation for the most part. As Santerre now tries to get to the inside of Harvick. Meanwhile, back up front, it is still Jason Keller leading Jeff Green as we have completed 6 laps, and the fastest car on the racetrack that last lap was the 30 car, looks like, of Hermie Sadler. Jerry Punch has more from pit road.
Guys, one of the reasons you saw Jeff Green not be real risky early on and allow his teammate Jason Keller to go by is a lot of these teams are starting with very, very low air pressure And they saw with these same tires what happened a couple of months ago here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, where at least 12 or 13 trucks had tire problems, not of Goodyear's doing, but of their own doing, because of running too much low air pressure and running too hard too early on. So Jeff Green was warned, as with his teammate Jason Keller, let the pressure come up, then the cars will not be nearly as loose as they are going into turn 1 and turn 3. Just a moment ago, Green reported the pressure's coming up, and the car is feeling much, much more comfortable.
As a matter of fact, Goodyear had the teams add 5 pounds per tire this year versus last year.
We're going to jump back here to about 24th, 25th, and 26th position. That is Frickle in the 5, the 33 of Raines, and Randy LaJoy in the 1 car.
Ken Friedel in 36. Looks like the bottom group right now is a little quicker. There's Ricky Hendrick in that blue and white GMAC Chevrolet. Rick Hendrick's son.
On the heels of Tim Fedewa.
And Jay Sauter, the 43 car, trying to get on the inside of Ricky Hendrick.
There's some tight racing going on back here in the middle of the field.
This is our Quality Farm and Country onboard camera.
And laps have been completed of the 250 here, and there you see the top 4. That is Jason Keller, followed by Jeff Green, Jeff Purvis running 3rd, and Hermie Sadler is in 4th. Back with more live coverage from Pikes Peak in a moment. 16 laps completed. There you can see that Jason Keller still has the lead. He lost it during our commercial break, but he has it back again. Jeff Green is running in 2nd position, and now Hermie Sadler comes up to battle for the 2nd spot. He's in 3rd, and side-by-side action here between Andy Santerre in the 25, and that's Kevin Grubb in the 37.
It's a battle for the 9th position. And Santerre, the 25 car, he did not drive this car last year here at Pikes Peak. It was a different race car, but that's about the way he looked as he passed Grubb coming off the corner. Car handled so beautifully last year.
Andy started 16th here this afternoon and has moved up to the 9th position here in the first 18 laps of the event. Let's go down to Ray Dunlop, who has more on the 19 car of P.J. Jones, who's running back there in the last spot, Ray.
Well, Bob, this is his first time here to Pikes Peak, but P.J. says his car is very, very tight. But the big problem is he had to switch ignition boxes, so the car not running very well at all. Not going to be too long here before the leader, Jason Keller, catches up to P.J. and puts him, the first car, a lap down.
Let's take a look at the interval between that last place car of P.J. Jones, and there is the leader. Hermie Sadler continues to battle with Jeff Green. And Benny, the interesting story regarding Hermie Sadler was that he started this year in that car and then abandoned it, and now he's back.
Well, he got fired. I mean, they really were not having a lot of success, so they fired the driver, which is the easiest thing to do rather than replace 25 or 30 other guys. But they found out when they put other drivers in the car, Chad Little drove the car some, that it really wasn't the driver. It was the car. They changed the cars around. And here we see Hermie. He took the ride back, and here he is trying to take over the 2nd spot from Jeff Green.
And right now, Jerry's got a good run going.
He does, and Hermie Sadler realized that it wasn't him and it wasn't the team. It was a combination of just lack of communication. They changed some personnel in this team owned by Vicky and George Devidar. Joe Peary is the new crew chief, and they had a great run last week at Nazareth. Hermie is making his 6th start this year. He will race this car 4 more times, and the 1993 Rookie of the Year was very excited not only about his great qualifying effort, but about a shot to get his first win since 1994.
Hermie Sadler in the 98 race here at Pikes Peak finished 16th, and he finished 11th last year.
Jeff Green in the Nesbitt, the yellow car in the 2nd spot right now as we ride along with Hermie Sadler. This is the Little Freeze onboard camera. Harold Harley and the guys came about 4 springs this morning.
Here's the battle for 11th position as Harvick has passed Schuler to go into the 11th spot.
Jason Schuler has a really good run going today in this Vising car.
Kevin Harvick right now leads the Raybestos Rookie of the Year points over Ron Hornaday by just 6. And some action back here in the middle of the pack. That's the 11 car is driven by Hut Strickland, and the 0 car is Johnny Rumley.
Hut Strickland took over the 11 car this week when Jason Jarrett, the driver, said, look, we're not going any place, and we need to just get this team going. Let's let me get out, put a veteran driver in, and see if Hut Strickland can help us find some problems we may have with this railback team. Johnny Rumley, the 0 car, I'm pretty impressed because this is a backup car that he's in. I doubt he might have got a few laps in happy hour last night, but not many.
And it's only his 3rd start this year in the Busch Series. He did run last weekend at Nazareth, starting 26th and finishing 29th. He's going to go to the high side of the racetrack and try to take that spot from Strickland. And it looks like he may get the job done. Yep, he did.
Ashton Lewis in 46th. Now back to the battle for the 19th position between Randy LaJoie in 1, the Bob Evans car, and the 92 of Jimmy Johnson. So it's like Johnson right now is taking that spot away. They try to close in on the back of Elton Sawyer.
Joy, of course, a 2-time champion of the Busch Series. He has won this year in Nashville. Right now, running back in the 20th position, battling for the 19th spot. And down on the bottom of the racetrack, he stays side by side with Johnson. And here comes Trickle to the inside to challenge LaJoie. And he started back in the 21st position.
Buckshot Jones, the Cheez-It 00 behind, watching all this stuff.
Now they're coming up on Elton Sawyer. But up front, it still remains Jason Keller at the front of the field, and the interval is about a half a second over Jeff Reed. Hermie Sadler remains in 3rd. Pole sitter Jeff Purvis runs 4th. Running in 5th spot right now at the end of 28 laps is Casey Atwood.
At Pikes Peak International Raceway, and Jason Keller has lengthened his lead to about 3/4 of a second.
And boy, here we've got the 19 car, P.J. Jones, about to be lapped by all these cars. Jason Schuler. There's Mike McLaughlin, Phil Parsons. Oh, and Hank Parker Jr. Somehow they squeezed and threaded the needle. Blaze Alexander's also in that group.
Schuler's running in 12th position, so 12th, 13th, and 14th right here. That's McLaughlin coming up on Schuler.
Mike McLaughlin in that Gould Funk Chevrolet started in 18th. He's now trying to take over the 12th position.
McLaughlin's best finish here at Pikes Peak came last year. Finished in 15th spot. Now he goes to the inside of the track and runs all the way through the corner side by side with Schuler. That's Phil Parsons back there looking on.
Phil started back in 20th position, and he's trying to get by Jason Schuler. That would be the 12th position. I think that's the 13th position.
Alexander and Randy LaJoie up to join this battle. Looks like the Schuler is losing spots up there in the upper groove.
Yes, after these cars run, now we're 38 laps into the race, and after these cars run a little bit, the tires really get hot, and they start picking up that push. When the cars go down in the corner, we'll go down the corner. He turns the wheel, now get back on the accelerator, and the car starts going to drift up. See how he drifts away from that white line and going out towards the wall. And that really slows the progress down on these cars. Brickell going to fight Jason Schuler. This is Bobby Hillen in the 8 car, the Kleenex car, to challenge for Schuler.
Here's Jeff Purvis, Casey Atwood battling for position. The 55 car of Michael Rich is a lap down, but this is a battle for the 4th position between Atwood in the 27 and Jeff Purvis in the 4 car.
Casey Atwood in that Castro 27 looked like he really had a good hand on his race car because he was able to keep the car right down on the bottom of the racetrack as he came off turn 4.
Only one driver in the previous 2 races here at Pikes Peak has finished in the top 5 both times. That would be Jeff Purvis. He finished 5th on both occasions. More on the 4 car from the doctor.
A lot of speculation in their pits from veteran crew chief Doug Reichert. I should say Richard. Yeah, that's the guy there, Doug Richard, 39-year-old crew chief who was who won a Winston Cup championship with Dale Earnhardt back in 1980. Since he came on board, this is a whole different race team. A great run last week, a great run in Milwaukee, and they expect to get a winner today. They think, they have not talked to Jeff Purvis, they think from watching him that the car may be very tight. We are hearing from a number of drivers, Casey Atwood, Kevin Harvick, and others, that they are having a tight condition in both ends of the racetrack. The car will get in the middle of the corner and just will not turn. That may be Purvis' problem. They'll fix it on the first pit stop.
This team has made great strides. Just in the last 2 races, Jeff has come from 28th in the point standings up to 19th. There is Jason Keller, who continues to lead, but the interval is not as much as it was. The cars have been battling some traffic, and that's narrowed the gap between first and second, Keller and Green, to just about a quarter of a second. Hermie Sadler continues to hang right in there in third.
Yeah, he's right there. The white car is Hermie Sadler. Then we see Hut Strickland, 11, has gone a lap down. And we see Austin Cameron, that's the blue Cadillac car. Second week in a row that he has driven that car.
He is about to go a lap down. He's running back into 37th position. And now Andy Santerre moves up alongside Purvis. So Santerre, last year's winner, has moved up nicely. He's currently in the 5th position, and he started back in the 16th spot.
Jason Leffler, how about that MD&A Pontiac? Has a great run. Both those cars are 4 and 18, both coming from the Joe Gibbs stable.
There is Jason Leffler on the right from the USAC ranks.
I thought that was about for the lead. That's Austin Cameron about to be lapped by the second place car of Jeff Green.
Yeah, he has gone a lap down to the leader, Keller. And now Green and Hermie Sadler trying to get by him also. So 45 laps, all under green here at Pikes Peak International Raceway in the Napa Auto Care 250. Busch Series action here at Pikes Peak International Raceway. The Napa Auto Care 250. 50 laps have been completed. There's the leader, Jason Keller, lapping the 44 of 19-year-old Justin Labonte, while second place Jeff Green now comes up to also try to do that, and Hermie Sadler continuing to run back in third spot, and we're on board with Hermie.
Hanging right in there. Following these 2 team cars, the 57 and the 10.
That Slim Jim car of Justin Labonte running back in 35th position, so he is a lap down. 34 remain on the lead lap at this point.
Justin is 2-time NASCAR Winston Cup champion Terry Labonte's son.
Jerry, as per usual in the afternoon, we're beginning to see a bit of a cloud cover move over the racetrack.
And Bob Jenkins, that is a huge help for the 2 cars that are running 1-2 right now. When the race began, there was a bright sun shining over Pikes Peak International Raceway. Both Jeff Green and Jason Keller complained that they were very loose at both ends of the racetrack. And that's why we began to see Hermie Sadler make a move on them. Now the clouds have moved over. Both the 57 and the 10 cars say their cars are much, much better. It has helped them tremendously. But the bad news is the clouds may move away. We may have some sunshine again before their first pit stop.
Now we see the cloud cover. We see that when we started the race, we was bright sunshine. There isn't now.
Tony Raines has lost a lap. Meanwhile, the driver who has moved up best here in the first 53 laps of the race is that number 25 right there of Andy Santerre. Started 20th last year and came on to win the race. Today he started 16th and has moved up to the 4th spot, just about at 1.1 seconds behind the leader. He's splitting duties in this car this year with Kenny Wallace.
Car is owned by the Renzi brothers, Ed and Sam. It's a battle between David Green, Ron Hornaday, and Jeff Purvis. David Green in 34, Hornaday in the 3. And on board with the Porter Cable Pontiac of Jeff Purvis, their pole sitter.
Now on board with Hornaday, looking back on Jeff Purvis, who continues to slide back after starting up in the pole position.
7th, 8th, and 9th.
Now Purvis looks ahead to Hornaday.
Boy, look at that line of traffic they have in front of them. See Kevin Grubb in the 37 car has joined this battle.
And Benny, one other thing you have to talk about when you come to Pikes Peak, in addition to the possibility of rain every afternoon, is the fact that we are above 6,000 feet here at this racetrack, and that starves these engines of horsepower. There's the 66 car of Todd Bodine, who's back in 31st spot and will be the next to go a lap down. Ray?
Well, Bob, when this race started, Todd Bodine came on the radio and said it feels like the left front tire is flat. But they finally built up a little air pressure, and the car got a bit better. But every lap, he comes on the radio and says it's very, very tight. We got to make a big chassis change when we make that first pit stop. Keep in mind, this team struggled in the first part of this race a year ago and ended up finishing 3rd here. So I bet the 66 car will get a little bit better before this day is over.
And this will be a 2-stop race. Somewhere around lap 100 will be the first. We have a battle for the front position as Green goes back in front of Jason Keller.
Still there. Probably trying to wiggle your where you can talk to us.
That's obviously not Jeff Green's radio, because he said he's still there, and he wasn't still there. He's pulled away by 3 or 4 car lengths on Jason Keller.
Let's finish off this horsepower story because of the high altitude. How much did they lose?
The teams tell me they estimate 100 horsepower. 100 horsepower, not having that full charge of air going inside the engine, pulling fuel in and making that power.
The air is much thinner up here than it is at any other racetrack that these guys compete on. So Jeff Green now out to about a half-second advantage on Jason Keller. Keller has led 50 laps to this point, and Jeff Green has just led his 10th lap. And into this pits for a stop is Tom Hubert. This is the car that Mike Borkowski started the season in, but Tom Hubert now is the chauffeur, and they're going to make a 4-tire stop here on the 60th lap.
Yes, and they're having some trouble. Looks like they had a little bit of miscommunication. See, the left rear tire, the left front tire changer is already finished, and the left rear tire was just getting there. That was the miscommunication I was referring to. It looked like they threw out a spring rubber out of the right rear. I guess that was why the rear tire changer was so slow. He pulled the spring rubber out of the right rear after he took the tire off.
So Hubert back out on the racetrack as Hermie Sadler now continues to run well, and he's right up there battling Jason Keller for the 2nd position. And let's see, it looks like Hermie has a good run coming off the corner here. They cross the stripe and complete the 62nd lap, and Hermie edges himself ahead just a little bit and now completes the pass. So put Sadler up in 2nd.
And you might have seen just a glimpse in the corner of the screen where Todd Bodine, the Schultz 66 car, was lapped by the leader, Jeff Green.
So 30 cars now are on the lead lap. Here's the 37 car of Kevin Grubb. He's running back in 10th position, but Benny up in turns 1 and 2 a few laps ago, he had a bit of a problem.
Goes in the corner right behind Jeff Purvis. Oh, and goes up almost ran in the back of Purvis and had to just drive the car up the racetrack to avoid Purvis, and thank goodness he did.
Had to get up in the loose stuff, way out of the groove. But Grubb now settles back in the 10th position.
You see that Santerre right behind Jason Keller in 57 as we see Jeff Green. He's pulled away by about a second and a half between these cars. But look at Santerre.
Santerre having a good run. Meanwhile, Jerry, our thoughts begin to turn towards the pit stops. When do you expect those?
Well, Bob, as we said at the beginning of the show, based on fuel mileage, the teams can go just over 100 laps or 100 miles here. But a year ago, most of the teams tried to divide this race into 3 parts and make a pit stop around lap 80 and another pit stop around lap 160. Also, some teams last year when the caution came out, just after lap 60 came in and pitted again 100 laps later. So basically, we're talking about a 2 pit stop race. If we were to get a caution anytime now, we would probably see the leaders pit. And if they did, everyone else would have to come down and change 4 as well.
Jay Sauter has come in for a pit stop as they will make a 2-tire change and send him back out there.
That's exactly what he's trying to do. Make a chassis adjustment and hope that his car runs a little bit faster.
So
and hope the caution flag doesn't come out until all the leaders are able to make their pit stops as well.
No caution so far. We've been green all the way, and we're on lap number 66. And Jeff Green has a 1.3-second advantage on Herbie Sadler. Jeff Green, who currently leads the point standings in the NASCAR Busch Series, leads the Napa Auto Care 250 here at Pikes Peak International Raceway by about a second and a half over Herbie Sadler. Jeff Green, in the last 18 races, has 6 poles, 4 wins, and his average finish is 4.4. Now, we say in the last 18 races because remember what happened to him in the first race of the year at Daytona. We showed you in the opening part of the show that he flipped, was 42nd in the point standings after that race. He took the point lead at Talladega and has been ahead ever since. Ray, more pit stops being made.
Yeah, Bob, Jimmy Johnson is in, and he's down the way now. They put right side tires on the number 92 car, made a track bar adjustment, went down 1 round on the track bar, and that's at lap 73. Todd Bodine is also on his way into pit road right now because that car is very, very tight, so they've got to make a chassis adjustment. They can't take any chance of going down another lap in that car. We expect the front-running cars to come in here between lap 105 and 110. Todd is in now. Right side goes on, and Tony Raines comes in right in the front there as the jack took a little bit long to get around from the right side to the left side. This will be a 4-tire change. See a little bit of damage on the left front as Todd Bodine's gotten into a few people, and he has a tough time getting around Tony Raines, but he heads back to the racetrack.
And all kinds of problems there on the right front for Tony Raines.
I think they were pulling the spring rubber out of the right front or putting one in or something. They made the right front tire change and made some sort of adjustment once he had that tire off. You see him take the tape off.
Yeah. And Raines goes out to the racetrack, and Andy Santerre now looks ahead to Jason Keller as Santerre has moved to 4th. Coming up quickly on Keller.
And right there, when he goes up the racetrack, though, Jason gains a car length or 2. He's going in the corner that Andy Santerre is so much better than Jason Keller right now. Watch as he closes up. But then he's like his car is very tight. He's pushing. He can't turn it, and it just slides up the racetrack.
Santerre's best finish this year in his 11 races, 6th at Loudon. That is another relatively flat 1-mile racetrack similar to this. While all this is happening, Jeff Green continues to pull away from the field. He's about 2.2 seconds ahead of Keller.
That has been Jeff Green's MO all year long. you know, for 10 or 15 laps, about any cars here can run with him. But after they run 30 laps, that Nestle Cherry just keeps pulling away from the field.
Summary showing you the manufacturer's points battle. Only 3 Fords in today's race. Most of them are Chevys. And only 3 Pontiacs also, and the best Pontiac at the moment is driven by Jason Telefo, running in the 7th position. There are the point standings as far as rookies are concerned, with Harvick just a few markers ahead of Hornaday. Well, the leader now begins to work slower traffic once again. There's the 21 of Mike Dillon.
He just put Ricky Hendricks a lap down as he goes by. Here comes the 30 car, the second place car, Herman Sadler.
Looking back on Jason Schuler, who is a lap down in 28th spot. 24 cars remain on the lead lap. This is a nice wide racetrack here at Pikes Peak, and cautions are not something that we see a lot of. 7 cautions last year, and so far, none. There is Buckshot Jones running in 24th, going a lap down to the leader. And Keller and Santerre continue to battle it out for the 3rd spot.
These guys have fallen back a little over 4 seconds behind Jeff Green.
Mark Green in the 63 car. He made a pit stop a few minutes ago. Falls back to 39. Jason Keller this year has won a race. That came at Dover. And led 50 laps of this one. But Jeff Green is the man at the point at the moment. He's been there for 32 laps, and coming up to lap, Bobby Hillin Jr. running in the 23rd position. Green, Sadler, Keller, Santerre, and Atwood are the top 5. 82.
It's here. Peak International Raceway, where Jeff Green sets the pace by about 2.2 seconds over the second place car of Hermie Sadler. You can see that Bobby Hillin Jr. in the number 8 car is a lap down now. 21 are on the lead lap, and there's the second place car of Sadler. And we'll jump on board with him.
So a raindrop. Oh, I see a couple of raindrops. You see the blue sky there, folks, but believe it or not, a few raindrops falling here at Pikes Peak.
Well, the interval from first to second, Green to Sadler, has been reduced from 2.7 seconds on lap 81 to 1.8.
And you see the second place car being passed by the 63 of Mark Green. Mark Green made a pit stop and changed tires. You can see how important fresh tires are to these cars.
Just a little bit of damage there on the front of Jeff Green's car. Jerry, what's that all about?
Well, Bob, a moment ago when we were away in commercial, there was a little bit of contact between Bobby Hillin that was being lapped and Jeff Green. Green came up to lap Bobby Hillin. Bobby trying to stay on the lead lap, kept his car in the groove, and there was some contact which pushed Jeff Green's front fender in. They were concerned that it may be rubbing the tire, but the spotters have watched and do not see a fender rub. Now, just a moment ago, Jeff Green has said he is starting to feel a vibration in the right front. Remember, there was a lot of concern about some tire wear here because they had not been able to get much practice yesterday due to the fact that we had showers all afternoon. So a vibration developing on our lead car, and they were about 12 to 14 laps away from their scheduled first pit stop if we stay green.
And we saw 92 Jimmy Johnson pass Jeff Green just a few minutes ago, and again he has made a pit stop and has the fresher tires. Now, because Jeff Green is on old tires, the speed of the race has been reduced. He's now running only 122.8 miles an hour.
That time he pitched it up to 123.5 miles per hour, which was the fastest lap of any of the top 6 cars.
Here's what Jerry was talking about, the contact between Hillen and Green right here off of corner number 4 in front of the main grandstand. Boom, there it is.
There's that slight contact. And that can't hurt the handling characteristics of the car because they pull those fenders out and really use those as a handling tool, put flares on to make the downforce to force the front of the car down. If you get those things pushed in a little bit too much, it can affect the handling. As we see Jason Schuler, the Visine Chevrolet on pit road. Jerry Punch.
And a scheduled pit stop for Jason Schuler. Tire change for Schuler. Remember the young man who's driving in place of Matt Kenseth, who won the very first Busch Series event here 2 years ago. As Kevin Harvick, the leading Rookie of the Year contender, brings the AC Delco Chevrolet down pit road. Todd Berrier in the crew. Getting ready to service Kevin Harvick. Harvick won here in the Truck Series in the Western West Series in 1998. Led the most laps in the truck race here a year ago. Only to have a problem late in the race to be shuffled back for a top 5 finish. Left side tires going on. A lot of fuel still from the back of that car. Harvick is down the way with 4 tires.
Back out onto the racetrack just ahead of Jimmy Johnson. That's in the back stretch, and can see still some evidence of light rain falling at least on some parts of the racetrack.
Boy, there's a lot of cars that love to make a pit stop right now and get that chassis adjustment, but they're afraid that it's going to rain, Bob. If they do, they make that pit stop, they're going to be a couple laps down.
9th and 10th position here. 9th is Phil Parsons, and 10th is the 48 car of Mike McLaughlin.
Well, the 36 car, Tim Fiedel, has come up and passed McLaughlin and taken over the 10th position. So Fiedel has a very good run. But you're right. McLaughlin and Phil Parsons have run together all day long. They started back about 20th and have worked their way up to the top 10. As a matter of fact, Phil Parsons is about a second closer to Jeff Green now than he was 10 laps ago. He's actually running a little bit faster than Jeff Green.
And the new crew chief on the Mike McLaughlin car, a familiar name as far as crew chiefs are concerned, Scott Zipadelli, the crew chief on Mike McLaughlin. Down to Ray Dunlap.
Well, Bob Benny was talking about Tim Fiedel. Well, what a good run today as he started 27th and is now up to 11th. Keep in mind, though, Tim Fiedel has 4 wins in the NASCAR Busch Series, and 3 of those have come on 1-mile tracks. 1 year ago here at Pikes Peak, Fiedel finished 2nd. So he's got a very good car today.
Before he started 27th and has worked his way up to 9th. So yes, he does have a very, very good race car today.
He led 7 laps here last year en route to that runner-up position.
The 13th car is Brad Baker that you saw just a moment ago.
And the 00 car of Buckshot Jones is on pit road. Jerry?
Routine pit stop for the Cheetah Chevrolet of Buckshot Jones. They've already changed right side tires, changing left side tires. Slight air pressure adjustment. A lot of these drivers complaining their cars are loose getting in and tight coming on. You can deal with the tight condition, but if you're loose getting in, you can't drive in the corner. Buckshot down on the jack, 4 tires, and away.
And we're nearing the 100 lap mark here.
Austin Cameron also leading pit road in the Cadillac car.
Meanwhile, there's the leader. He will come down next time and complete the 100th lap of this race. Will enjoy more than a 3-second advantage at that point. Let's check the exact interval between first and second as Green hits the line. 3.28 seconds. Back to the second place car of Hermie Sadler. There's Blaze Alexander again, passing because of fresher tires.
The tire is gone. The right front is gone.
Jason Leffler relinquishes his top 10 position to come in for a stop.
That sounded like Jeff Green's voice that said the right front is gone.
We may see a pit stop from Jeff very, very shortly. Meanwhile, our attention goes to Jason Leffler, who hits the marks. Leffler has competed a couple of times this year in the Indy Racing Northern Lights Series, and of course is a USAC champion, the Open Wheel Series, and he's out after a 16.4 second stop.
Wow.
Jason earlier this year won the pole at Texas. And he builds up speed down the backstretch. His best finish of the year came at Myrtle Beach when he came home 7th.
See Ashton Lewis in the 46 car going by the leader, Jeff Green.
You see this yellow stuff, you're about 6 past there. 4, 3, right there. Right there. There you go.
We listened to radio of someone making a pit stop that time. Jeff Green is losing ground to Hermie Sadler. Hermie Sadler right now is 2.4 seconds. And Jeff Green, this Nesquik car, is really struggling right now. I know Harold Hawley with the raindrop wants to keep him out as long as he can because he will get lapped, but it looks like he's coming in now, Bob.
Like he may have had enough here. Indeed, he drops down off the banking and hits pit road. So Jeff Green, the leader of the race, comes in. He's got a couple of cars right behind him. Ricky Hendrick making a second pit stop, and Casey Atwood also. And Hornaday is there. Jerry?
Last week's winner, Ron Hornaday, getting service from his Napa Chevrolet crew. Here comes the leader and points leader, Jeff Green, Nesquik Chevrolet. 33-year-old Harold Hawley, and Green goes over the yellow line. They have to back the car up. That'll cost him a couple of seconds. They will make a 4-tire change. They will add a round of bite. They're going to look at that left front fender. There's a big mark on that left front tire. Hornaday is down and away. Likewise, Brendan LaJoy is gone. Now they pulled the left front fender, put left side tires on, and Jeff Green, our points leader, is down and away.
And you hate to call a 22.2-second pit stop slow, but it certainly wasn't up to standards. Ray?
David Green is in, Bob, and he is saying his car is very, very tight, so they're going to make an air pressure adjustment on the right front. Right side tires are on. The AFG glass, number 34 Chevrolet, round to the left side here. Green, his very first time ever here to Pikes Peak International Raceway. A little bit of trouble on the left rear right there, and David Green is down and away. We expect Andy Santerre to be in just a second. Now to Jerry.
Left side tires going on. Jason Keller, the Chevron Chevrolet. They had trouble getting around the back of the car. The Jackman slipped on a wet spot on pit road, but still a pretty good pit stop. Less than 19 seconds for the Chevron crew of Steve Addington and Jason Keller.
Tim Fedewa making a pit stop. Elton Sawyer rolls out. Here comes Hermie Sadler in. He led 3 laps, but now relinquishes the lead for his first scheduled pit stop of the afternoon. And Jerry, slowly, 45 miles an hour is the pit speed, and he's working his way toward you.
Bob, 31-year-old Hermie Sadler, the 1993 Rookie of the Year in the Rebecca's Rookie of the Year Challenge for Busch Series competition, making only his 6th start, and boy, would he ever love to win one here. He has not gone to victory lane since 1994. Left side tires now going on the car. They've already made a right side tire change. A little bit loose going in the corner. A slight air pressure adjustment. Now comes the left front. They have to pick the lug nuts up. That'll cost him some valuable time. Still can't get the lug nuts on the left front tire. Losing valuable time. Hermie Sadler is away. Right down left.
Well, Jerry, by staying out one additional lap while Jeff Green credit Andy Santerre took the lead, so that'll be bonus points. Down 1 round on the track bar here. Air pressure adjustment on the left rear tire. Right side tires are on. Left side tires come around full of fuel. A great run once again for former winner here at Pikes Peak, and he's down and away.
And Andy Santerre led 2 laps before coming in, and those are the first laps that he has led this year. The lead is going to go to Jay Sauter, I believe. There is Santerre as he builds up speed and works his way back into traffic.
There's the leader, Jay Sauter. He's one of those cars that made an earlier pit stop and went back on the racetrack with those 4 fresh tires, and we can see what an advantage it was for him.
He pitted last on lap number 66, but he has a 2-second advantage on Johnny Rumley. Welcome back to Pikes Peak International Raceway, south of Colorado Springs, and in fact, south of Fountain, Colorado also. This is the NASCAR Busch Series Napa Auto Care 250. Well, several cars just got their laps back because they were able to get around that car right there. Jay Sauter, who is currently the leader of the race, off sequence from everybody else as far as pit stops are concerned.
That's right. As we told you, as you told him going to break, he stopped on lap 66, where most of these guys stop 35 or 40 laps later, so they have much fresher tires and therefore able to run around the racetrack much faster. Hermie Sadler, Randy LaJoy, the 66 of Todd Bodine, Ron Hornaday, all these guys just passed Jay Sauter in the last couple of laps.
And now we watch Jeff Green work his way back up through the pack.
Right now, Jeff Green is in the second position. But he is 8.5 seconds behind the leaders. We still watch Hermie Sadler, Randy LaJoy.
Gary, how those tires hold up in the first 100 laps of the race?
Well, there've been a lot of people looking down here at the tires. I'm going to show you what's been done to a couple of tires here in the pits. This is the right front tire that came off of the car 57 of Jason Keller. Now, the big concern is Keller is second in points. His teammate, Jeff Green, is leading the points. And the crew chiefs have asked their crew members to take these tires and cut a section out. The big concern I told you a couple of months ago in the Truck Series race was the low air pressure was causing these tires to separate on the shoulder area. And as you mentioned, Benny Parsons, Goodyear had asked the team to raise the pressure some 5 pounds. And now from looking at these tires on the inside and outside, after about 106 laps, they're not coming apart. It looks to be wearing pretty well. So Goodyear obviously had done their homework. So there's no big scare right now, no major concern about tires separating as we saw 2 months ago in the Truck Series event here at Pikes Peak.
I saw some smoke there. What was that all about? Jay Sauter might have gotten the car a little sideways. Right now, Jay Sauter out there in that quality Foreman car is really struggling because all these other cars have so much better tires.
And we see that Jeff Purvis, the pole sitter there, number 4, has gotten his lap back. And now, Wayne Grubb tries to do the same. Grubb back in the 20th spot.
And we still see raindrops on the camera lens.
Jeff Purvis running back there in the 19th position. Here he is getting his lap back from Jay Sauter.
Man, I see where the smoke came from. They made contact as they came off turn 2 to go down the backstretch.
Big time contact.
Big time contact is right.
He appears to be okay. We're on board with him. Ray Dunlap, meanwhile, has an update on Tim Fedewa, who is running back in the, I'll find it in a while, 26th position, Ray.
Well, Bob, the reason he's way back there is they had a problem on their pit stop. The jack man let the jack down before the lug nuts were tight on the left rear tire. So Fedewa took off, started to go around the track, and the crew member said, I didn't get enough lugs tight. We better bring them back in. They pitted again, put those left rear tire lug nuts a little bit tighter. So Fedewa was running 7th whenever he pitted, now back in 26th, and he's 1 lap down.
Side battling going on here. There's a 57 of Jason Keller, who is back in the 10th position after leading 53 laps of this race. Ahead of him is Johnson in 92. Here comes Phil Parsons right behind Keller. And that's Austin Cameron up there in the 82 car. Now this is the battle for the 10th position between Keller. I'll make that the battle for the 9th position, Johnson, Keller, and Parsons.
Johnson, another one of those cars who had made a little bit of an early pit stop. And right now, the 57 of Keller and Parsons' tires a little bit better. That's why they're up challenging for that position.
Next time around, by the way, it will be the halfway point. Ray has more on the 92 car of Johnson.
Well, Bob, here's the situation. They came in at lap 66, but the problem is they only took 2 tires on. So Jimmy running really good right now, but as those other cars start to get better, I figure in another 20 laps or so, Jimmy's car will really start to slow down. But this was a strategy move. They said, let's come in early because they're looking over turn number 4 here, and they saw the big clouds. They figure a top 10 running position right now may be worth it if the skies open up.
Johnson currently 13th in the point standings in the Busch Series. He has moved up from 18th just in the last 6 races. There is Phil Parsons going for the 10th position. Jay Sauter continues to hold the lead here at Pikes Peak, and we have reached just past the halfway point. 126 laps are completed. Right now, everybody trying to catch up to Jay Sauter, who has about a 1.1 second advantage on Jeff Green. In fact, less than that.
There comes Jeff Green. Folks, I'm about 9 seconds back. Jeff Green, the yellow car, has run down 43. Jay Sauter, and going in turn 1, looks like he's about poised to take the lead, and does.
Jerry?
Well, guys, a roll of the dice for Jay Sauter. As you heard, that he's not the only one that pitted just after lap 60. Be able to short pit, took on only 2 tires, and now his tires basically have gone away. They have not had a left side tire change for 127 laps. As you saw a moment ago, he's a sitting duck out there now. They will have to pit in about 35 laps. It should be their final pit stop for the afternoon, but it doesn't take something away from the team. Benny Parsons said last week we saw Nazareth do a remarkable job coming from 33rd starting spot, involved in an incident on the very first lap. They lost a lap, forced their way back into the top 10, and got a top 10 finish. A huge weekend for the quality farm and country Chevrolet of rookie driver Jay Sauter.
Buckshot Jones goes by the leader. Another car. I'm sorry, he's not the leader anymore. The 10 car is going to steal the leader, so he's got to get by Jeff Green to get back in the lead lap.
All right, so put Jeff Green back in front of the field. Over Sauter, running in 3rd position is Harvick, followed by Jason Leffler and last year's winner, Andy Santerre. Back with more of the Napa Auto Care 250 in a moment. Jerry Punch and Ray Dunlap back at Pikes Peak International Raceway, the Napa Auto Care 250. We have been green all the way, and because of that, we're on record pace. The average so far, 124.376, and the race record is 104.663. In the 98 race here at Pikes Peak, there were 5 cautions. Last year, there were 7. We haven't had any so far, and the last Busch race to run without a caution was in Michigan in 1998, 61 races ago.
We've been green more than the green flag. Jeff Green has been out in front. For how many laps now? 81. We've seen him in front.
You are the man.
Now that sounds like Jeff Green. Harold Hawley being the crew chief for his driver, Jeff Green.
All right, let's show
the cheerleader, I should say.
Back to 2nd place, Harvick. About 1.9 seconds last time around. So Kevin Harvick runs in 2nd spot. 3rd position belongs to Jason Leffler.
Now Jason is about 4 1/4 seconds behind the leader.
Jason, the 1997 and 98 USAC Midget Car champion, and also the 1998 Coors Light Silver Bullet champion. Back to 4th place now. There is Andy Santerre. Up from the 16th starting spot to 4th place at the moment.
David Green is currently running in 5th position. There he is. The AFG car going underneath Johnny Rumley in 0.
In 6th spot is the driver who led a while ago. In fact, he led 19 laps of this race on board with Jay Sauter.
That's Ricky Hendrick going by. Scott Gaylord in 77.
Scott is 3 laps down, back in the 37th position. Here comes Phil Parsons, who's having a heck of a race. He passed for 8th a few minutes ago and now goes to 7th, passing Sauter.
Bill qualified back in the 20th position. Casey Atwood, the 27 car, go by. Let's see, Jason Keller. Don't forget about Jason Keller, the Excedrin car. He's running where, Bob, 9th?
Yep.
About to be 8th as he tries to get on the inside of Jay Sauter. And succeeds.
Keller led 50 laps of this race. As he has now put a lap on Mike Dillon, who's running 21st. 20 laps, or 20 cars, I should say, on the lead lap now. The next car to go a lap down will be Elton Sawyer. There he is just ahead of Jeff.
Hank Parker Jr.'s got a good run going, the 53 car. He's currently in the 11th position as he just passed Jay Sauter. And man, those tires on Jay Sauter's car is really starting to show up now, isn't it?
Yep. And that would move Hank up into the top 10 now with him gaining that position from Jay Sauter.
Jeff Green trying to close up on the back of Elton Sawyer.
Check the speeds at the line, BP, see who's the best. I would imagine that Green would stay in the number 1 position here, but we'll see. Well, second place car right now is the second fastest car. Kevin Grubb was. Now it is
Hank Parker Jr.
Yeah.
And the 37 car, Kevin Grubb, is third.
But Jeff Green is the fastest car on the racetrack as he completes another lap. And we'll do it again. 126.948 on that last lap. Oh.
That's the 34 car, David Green.
Yeah.
Bill Parsons moves into the third fastest car. And finally, Jay Sauter and Gene Needs has got to have some tires. Ray?
Well, Benny, it was lap 66 when they came in last time because they had a flat right rear, so that's why they only did right side. But no way can they take a chance now. It's a 4-tire stop. Jay Sauter, who was running in the top 10, will love to have this. He's been on the radio for the last 10 laps saying, I can't hold on much longer. 4 tires to death, and he's down in the lane.
Jay has competed twice here in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, finished 26th in 98 and 9th last year. Here is Ron Hornaday going to the 11th position.
Another car that only took right side tires on his pit stop, the Alltel car, Jimmy Johnson. And we can see now that that's starting to affect his car and the handle of it as Hornaday goes by.
Hornaday picking up his first series victory last weekend at Indianapolis. And the 33 car of Tony Raines has come in. He was running in 31st position, 2 laps down, and now comes in for another pit stop. See a rubber being taken out of the right rear of that car and cast aside.
Jeff Green still not able to get by the 98 car of Elton Sawyer, put him a lap down. Sawyer's hanging tough.
In 19th position, but the interval between first and second has increased to 3.3 seconds. That's the interval from Jeff Green, the leader, back to Kevin Harvick running in second spot. Santerre, David Green, and Jason Leffler make up the top 5.
27 and 53, Casey Atwood and Hank Parker Jr.
The battle for 9th, I should say. That is Parker coming up on Atwood, who's running in 9th spot.
Ricky Hendrick in the 24 car. He's currently 1 lap down in the 24th position as he moves up the racetrack. Lets Casey Atwood go. There's 3 guys, all about 20 years old. I think Casey's 19. I think Ricky's 19.
Whoa.
Todd Bodine making a pit stop. right in front of these cars, almost in contact. I think Hank Parker Jr. is about 20 or 21.
And here is Jason Leffler and Kevin Grubb as they battle for the 5th spot.
And Phil Parsons also in that group. Grubb passed
Still
Leffler
there.
just a couple laps ago. Now Phil's trying to get on the outside, take over the 6th spot.
Oh, that opens up a hole in the middle for Phil, and he takes advantage. But it does create a 3-wide situation all down through the D-shaped part of the racetrack. And Parsons, wow, he moves up
You're behind him.
to the 5th spot. So Phil started 20th and now is 5th.
He has a terrific run going today, and many times in the last run, I think he and the 48 car of Mike McLaughlin ran these about as fast as Jeff Green, the leader.
Let's go back here and check and see how Casey Atwood and Hank Parker Jr. are doing in their battle for 9th spot.
Ricky Hendrick still hanging in front of those guys. You know, Ricky Hendrick in the 24 ran the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race here at Pikes Peak back in May and did a terrific job. I think he finished about 6th in that race.
All around.
Atwood able to get underneath him, and now here comes Hank Parker to do likewise.
Still see a raindrop every now and then on the lens of that camera in turn 3. And the clouds have moved over and become more prominent here at Pikes Peak, but still, cars continue to circle right around this track.
And David Green and Andy Santerre are going at it for 3rd position. David Green only one top 5 so far this year. That was at Texas. He finished 3rd. His best finish the last 7 races, 13th. Lowe's Motor Speedway in Charlotte. Having a good run here today, though. Started 8th and is currently in the 3rd position.
And they're closing in, getting closer and closer to the Kevin Harvick AC Delco car, who's currently in 2nd spot. Right now, they're about 1 second behind Harvick, but getting closer.
Former champion of the Busch Series. That was back in 1994. Finished 2nd in the point standings in 96. It's Buckshot Jones in the 00 car, who is a lap down in 21st spot. Well, Atwood and Parker are still in the same position, but they continue to contest that 9th spot.
And look at Hank Parker just drive up on the outside of Casey Atwood. That was a very, very good move by Hank Parker Jr.
Finally made the pass, put Hank Parker up into the 9th position now, and Casey Atwood in 10th. So far, 5 leaders in this race. Jeff Green has led the most laps, 90. Jason Keller, 50. Jay Sauter, 19. Hermie Sadler, 3. Andy Santerre has led 2 laps. The 92 of Johnson is in, Ray.
Bob, they just put 5 rounds down in the track bar on the number 92. Now, I gave you some bad information earlier on in the race. I said they had only done right side tires. That was Jay Sauter that only did right side tires. On lap 72s when Jimmy Johnson was in the last time, they had done 4 tires and gone up a couple rounds in the track bar. Now they put that track bar back down on lap 165.
Meanwhile, we have a battle for the 2nd position, a 3-car battle, as a matter of fact. That's Green, Harvick, and Santerre, and David Green is going to go to 2nd spot.
You see the 33 car of Tony Raines, the Bayer car back there. He has made an unscheduled pit, well, not an unscheduled, he's made a pit stop and has fresher tires, so it looks like he's trying to pass all these cars. As we see Santerre try to get on the inside of the 2 car of Kevin Harvick.
This is the battle for 3rd position now at the end of the backstretch. Santerre sets the car to the inside and will inch ahead of Harvick through the corner. Off the corner. They stay side by side. And now Santerre will complete the pass. He goes to third, and Harvick back to fourth. Well, Jeff Green now finds himself 5.38 seconds ahead of his brother, David Green. So the Greens are up front. Mark Green, the other one in the race, is not having a particularly good day. He is back in the 36th position. Jeff Green leads at the end of 168 of 250 laps.
Back at Pikes Peak International Raceway, Jeff Green is showing the way by almost 4.5 seconds over his brother, David Green. Up there in the 83 car is Wayne Grubb. He is running in 16th position and is the last car on the lead lap. Well, Mike McLaughlin and Jeff Purvis are in a battle for the 14th position.
Mike McLaughlin looks back at Jeff Purvis. This is going on about 27 seconds behind the leader. In other words, not too far behind these two cars is the leader. You can see a yellow car just barely behind these guys in the same straightaway.
McLaughlin's best finish in 2 races here at Pikes Peak last year. 15th, he started 8th. Here today, he started in 18th position. Jason Keller and the 37 car of Wayne Grubb.
And we see the 53 car, Hank Parker Jr. He continues his way towards the front. He's been able to get by Jason Keller. He's moved up to the 7th position in the Team Marines car.
Parker's best finish this year came at Loudon. He was 5th. Currently is in the 7th spot. Here he comes up on Jay Sauter, who is now 2 laps down back in the 27th position after leading 19 laps.
Something's broken on Jay Sauter's car. So he went in the corner and the left side, the right side went down, the left side came up, and it was not pretty at all.
Jason Leffler was running as high as 2nd at one time. However, he has now dropped back to the 6th position, running about 12 seconds behind. Ray Dunlap looks like Buckshot's in.
Yeah, Bob, the last time the 00 came in was lap 96, so he's been screaming for tires, too. They go down 2 rounds on the track bar. It will be a 4-tire stop for the Cheez-It race car. Doing pretty good on the right side. A little bit of a hang up on the left rear here. Left front is done. Left rear taking just a little bit longer than they would have liked. And Buckshot is on his way back to the race.
So now he can go the rest of the way if this thing stays green. The rest of the way, Buckshot has his tires. He can go.
Buckshot, by the way, will celebrate his 30th birthday tomorrow. And we have Kevin Harvick coming in, Jerry, for his 2nd pit stop.
Bob's 2nd and final pit stop for today for the leading Rookie of the Year candidate, 24-year-old Kevin Harvick in the AC Delco Chevrolet. 4 tires. Todd Barrier made the call. They have 78 laps on these tires. I'll have to go 72 laps or make it 78 more laps to finish this race on lap 250. Left side tires going on. This is the same car that gave Barrier his best finish of the year. And 2nd at Myrtle Beach, he is down and away for his final stop.
Kevin Harvick has had the top rookie finishing position in 6 races this year. Ron Hornaday has in 8, but Hornaday is 2nd in the point standings. Well, Jeff Green finds himself in a whole bunch of race traffic right now.
Yes, he does. Wayne Grubb is still up there in the 83 car trying to stay on the lead lap. The 21 car, Mike Dillon, has gotten by Jeff Green. Jeff Green goes by Brad Baker. And the 34 car, his brother David Green, has closed that gap up. He has closed up by about 2 seconds behind Jeff Green. He was 4.5, and he's now 2 seconds.
And for David Green, his last Busch Series win came in June of 1996 at Myrtle Beach. He has 5 Series wins. The interval between 1st and 2nd was 3.9 seconds on lap 174. And on lap 178, he had tightened it to 3.1 seconds.
And now it's 1.4 seconds behind. David Green is coming. He's closing in. As I see Jason Schuler on pit road, Jerry.
Chassis adjusted for 28-year-old Jason Schuler, making only his 8th start this year. Remember, Max Kelly's series a couple of years ago had a great second-place finish. Left side tires going on, and the Visine Chevrolet now stalls. He refires, and he is away.
Schuler takes the Visine car back out onto the racetrack. And the 8th position battle between the 37 of Scrub and the 27 car of Casey Atwood.
Team cars, as a matter of fact, the 37 and 27. Both these cars owned by Grupo Motorsports.
That's Tom Hubert in the 20 car, but he is not on the same lap. He is, in fact, 4 laps down in 38th position.
Watch the 2 greens. See the 2 greens? The yellow one, and just on the right of the screen, the red and white car. That is the battle for the lead. 1 1/10 seconds between these 2 cars.
And there is evidence of the tightening of the battle for the lead. 3.5 seconds on lap 176. And 1.5 now, even less than that, as we have completed 183 laps.
And that's exactly what happened to Dave Green the last time. Remember, at the end of a run, he would slow down. Jerry Punch.
Final stop of the day, just being completed for last week's winner, Ron Hornaday. 4 tires, no significant change, a little bit of air pressure, but nothing else on the car number 3. He's down and away.
Watch how the back of this Napa Chevrolet, as he comes off the corner, there's Tim Fedewa. Hornaday tries to stay in front, Fedewa drives by. But meanwhile, here comes a big group of cars.
All cars are still running at the end of 184 laps, and we have been green all the way. Lead is 60 to go here at Pikes Peak, and Randy LaJoie is in again.
He just made a pit stop a couple of laps ago, and now he's back in again. Once again, right side tires going on. They're acting like something is wrong with the left rear, so they're going to change 4 tires once again.
Randy finds himself 3 laps down now and is losing positions as he sits here on pit road as they continue to work on the left rear of that car. Meanwhile, on the track, Jeff Green still leads.
I'm told it could be a brake problem on the Bob Evans Chevrolet of Randy LaJoie.
Well, Elton Sawyer just made a pit stop a few laps ago, and Ray, what's the story on him?
Well, Bob, they're back in 26th position right now. An awful lot of the guys that bring race cars here have what we call a drop snout chassis. But Elton Sawyer brought a standard snout chassis here, which is very different. The reason he said is because they go very fast here. But the problem with that chassis is it's been very, very tight all day, and they've been unable to fix it very much. Now, to compound the problem, Elton came on the radio and says, I think we either have a plug wires come off or we've dropped a cylinder. So a good finish that Elton Sawyer had planned for today. While he was running in the top 10, now he's back in 26.
And 2 laps down to the leader, Jeff Green. Now, Randy continues to sit on pit road as Phil Parsons makes a pit stop.
Watch Randy LaJoie as he makes a pit stop, trying to stop. You see the rear wheel stop? He's letting the clutch out. The engine is turned off, and he's letting the clutch out, trying to use the engine to slow the car down.
And right ahead of him, Phil Parsons, having a good run here today, makes his final pit stop. Work complete on the Kingsford charcoal car, and he's away. Jerry?
And chassis adjustment going on. Jason Keller's Xfinity Chevrolet. Left side tires going on. Same car. Keller had that great run at Nazareth last Saturday. Left side tires, final pit stop. We are 55 laps away from checkered flag, and Keller is down and away.
But meanwhile, the Green boys have got nose to tail.
Yes, they
Jeff
have.
Green in the 10, David in the 34.
And David now closes right in
Still all clear. Come on.
at Hut Strickland down to the inside of the 11 car. Probably just made a pit stop. Yes, he did. Therefore has the fresher tires and a faster car as he puts himself between first and second. Last lap, as you can see, David was just a little faster than his leading brother.
Here comes David. He's looking on the...
Looking inside. Still all clear.
He's
Still all clear.
Steve Barnwell, the spotter for Jeff Green, keeping him abreast of everything going on around him.
That last lap, Jeff ran 124.1, David 124.0.
Casey Atwood in that 20s, and here's the battle for the lead. David Green.
34. Bringing the 27 with him.
Oh, no, the 27 won
He's
by
going to make
both
it
of them.
3 wide. And Atwood gets one of his laps back.
Inside. New tires.
He pitted just 4 laps ago. But David Green has taken the lead here. Oh, here comes Jason Keller. But he is not on the lead lap. He is 2 laps down, 17th position. David Green, however, is in the lead for the first time this afternoon. This is the 5th race in the year 2000 that David Green has been out front.
Jeff Purvis, a Porter Cable, drives up beside Jeff Green, trying to get by. He's a couple laps down, trying to get one of his laps back. Oh, we got it.
What? Oh, we sure do. Hillen and Leffler.
That is turn 1.
And for the first time today on the 200th lap of the race, the caution comes out as Jason Leffler. Car is stopped on the racetrack momentarily. Now he gets it refired. Boy, Leffler had a very good race going, was as high as second. Made a pit stop a few laps ago, still in the 9th position, but now the yellow comes out for the first time today.
Bad break for all those cars that had pitted. Right now, it's just 6 cars had stayed out and had not pitted. That's 6 cars in the lead lap.
Take a look at what happened up in turns 1 and 2. We don't see how they got together, but they did.
Here's what happened. You see Randy LaJoy, the 1 car, was going down the front straightaway. Very slow. He doesn't have any brakes, remember? He was so slow. Jason Leffler passed him on the left side, and the 8 car, Bobby Hill, passed him on the right side. When they go around the 1 car, when they met, enter the corner, they met side by side and ran into one another. How's that?
How about that? LaJoy comes in again.
Looks like they have some type of fire under there. Is that a fire extinguisher I saw?
Pretty hot.
They're pouring some fluid. There's Bobby Hillen's car, heavily damaged. Making a pit stop. Here comes the leaders. The 6 cars that on the lead lap. Ray Dunlap.
3,500 RPM in second gear is what they're telling David Green. That way, you're under the pit road speed of 45 miles an hour. David heading down here. This is just the second race for new crew chief C.R. Miller, and they have said no chassis adjustments on this race car. David very happy, got his hand out the window saying, hey guys, I need a drink here. Right side tires going on the AFG Gas Chevrolet, coming around to the left side. A little bit of a hang-up over on the right front tire. They had a problem with lug nuts there, so this is going to cost some time. Now to Jerry Bunn.
Left side tires going on Jeff Green's car. He is down to the way. Great pit stop for Jeff Green. 1 full round in the left rear. Jeff said the car was a little too free in the middle of the corner off, but an outstanding pit stop. Jeff Green said, guys, easy money, 4 on and 4 off, and we'll win this one here today. And they paid attention.
Jeff is going to beat his brother David out of the pits. But these stops are under the caution, and 6 cars are on the lead lap. There's Hillen, who was involved in the crash with Jason Leffler up in turn number 2 that caused this first caution of the afternoon. We'll be right back. For the first time since the start of the race, the pace car is out in front of the field. First caution of the day coming on lap number 200, an incident up in turn number 2 involving Bobby Hillen and Jason Leffler. Well, they continue to work on the Randy LaJoie car.
Also right behind him, Jay Sauter, and right behind him, P.J. Jones. All three cars right together working with the hood up. Watch Randy LaJoie once again trying to stop with no brakes. The crew is hanging on, sliding. Stop this car. Come on, man. Stop, stop. Finally, the traction of Schmeekers slows the Bob Evans car well enough they can stop it, get it back in his pit area, and work on it.
And work on it they continue to do. P.J. Jones also pitted behind Randy. And LaJoie rolls away. Next time around, we'll get the green flag and a resumption of the competition. Now, there are 8 cars on the lead lap.
Well, now, here's what I said a little bit ago. We had 6 cars on the lead lap. Right now, the 59 and 27. There's the 59, Phil Parsons. He's the first car, the red and white car on the outside. And the 27 car of Casey Atwood. They had just made pit stops, so when the caution flag came out, they did not pit. They stayed on the racetrack. The leaders made their pit stop. Now they closed. They're back around. The leaders are right behind the 59 and 27.
They are at the tail end of the lead lap as we are about to go back green.
Terrific crowd here in Colorado. They like their NASCAR race now here as well.
Yep.
As they do all around America. There's the 37 car. The 10 car, the yellow car, is the leader.
Green flag, green flag.
Restart coming on lap number 207. 6 laps to run under caution that has reduced the average speed of the race down to below 120 miles an hour. But we're back to competition. Now we watch to see if David Green can catch up with his brother Jeff.
Mike Dillon right now, the red and white number 21. Between the 2 cars, and there's a battle for second between Andy Santerre and David Green.
Santerre goes to the inside of David Green here in front of the main grandstand and tries to pick up that second spot and does put Andy Santerre back to second, and there's Hank Parker Jr. in the 53 car also trying to get around David Green.
Go Hank. Meanwhile, Phil Parsons has been able to get by the 37 cars, Kevin Grubb.
And now Parker loses that position.
Oh, we see the 37 car, 33 car. Tony Raines has made contact, heavy contact off turn 4.
Last year's Rookie of the Year in the Busch Series takes the car to the warm-up lane, and the caution comes out once again.
Huge break for some cars right in front of the leader. There we see. Oh, I don't know who's going to win between Grubb and Jeff Green. Phil Parsons gets a lap back. 27, Casey Atwood gets a lap back, and Bobby Hamilton Jr.
Let's see what happened to Tony Raines to bring out our second caution of the day on lap 210.
There we see Raines on the outside. Some contact between... Don't know.
Can't see who it was. Anyway, Raines was forced up into the outside wall, and not only damage to the car, but some pieces being shed from it, and that caused the caution.
And that spark you see under the car is all the chassis dragging the ground as he has a flat right front tire. Man, oh man, that's so bad.
It's Jeff Green, Andy Santerre, David Green, Hank Parker Jr., and Mike McLaughlin, the top 5. The NASCAR Busch Series, Napa Auto Care 250 and Tony Raines cars being pushed behind the wall. He's the reason for the most recent caution, hitting the wall coming out of turn number 4.
There's a right front tire off Tony Raines' car. I saw one of the people in the cleanup truck kick a brake rotor off the racetrack. I'm sure that was off Tony Raines' car as well.
This is only our second caution of the afternoon. Jeff Green is in command of this race. Andy Santerre running in second spot. We'll take another break and be right back with more.
You can...
Welcome back to Pikes Peak, and we are about to go green once again for the final 36 laps of this race. It is Jeff Green, Andy Santerre, David Green. Fourth place belongs to Hank Parker Jr. Here we go.
Dillon squirts out in front of the leader in the 21 car.
Gets one of his 2 laps back. He's in 19th spot.
And now Todd Bodine, the 66, between Santerre and the leader. Now Santerre tries to get under Todd.
Todd Bodine has been off the pace all day. Not been a good race for Todd. He is currently in 20th position. Now, Ray Dunlap has an update on Andy Santerre, who's running second.
Well, Bob, while we were in commercial break, Andy came on the radio and he said, guys, if I can get by the 10, I'm a lot faster than him, and I will dust him. But that restart was a little bit of trouble for him. Now he's got a lot of work just to get back up to the 10. But Andy says his car's faster than Jeff Green.
Officially, 57 hundredths of a second separate Andy Santerre from Jeff Green.
Had a real mix-up off turn 2 as Ron Hornaday got sideways off the corner. Was jumbled up behind him. Meanwhile, here comes Santerre trying his best to close in on the back bumper of Jeff Green.
There is David Green down to the inside of Todd Bodine. Kevin Harvick also in this battle. However, Kevin is a lap down in 9th spot.
David Green trying to get on the inside. Looks like he has position on Santerre.
Side by side through corner number 1, and David Green takes the second position from Andy Santerre. So it now once again becomes a battle between the Greens. And we'll see if David has any better luck at closing the interval between himself and his brother. See what it is this time. It's 9/10 of a second.
Hank Parker Jr. is their third place car. He's behind some lap cars right now.
David shaved just a fraction of a second off of the interval, 88 hundredths. David right now has to contend with Mike Dillon, who is 2 laps down, back in 19th, but he is between first and second. We're looking from the car of Mike McLaughlin. That's Casey Atwood on the right.
That's a battle for the 5th position.
Jason Leffler back there. He was involved in the crash and is now 2 laps down in 22nd.
McLaughlin trying to go on the outside. Phil Parsons trying to get by Jason Leffler. Phil is the only car of the lead lap that pitted during the Parsons and changed 4 tires.
And it was a smart move because he got the lap back during that caution and then came in to make the pit stop. So we've got fresh tires for the rest of the race.
He did give up the track position.
All right, good job.
Now he goes to the bottom of the racetrack, down below McLaughlin, looking for the 6th position. And getting it. Now,
Slides up right in front of McLaughlin. I think Phil got the corner a little bit too hard that time. Had to go up the racetrack. Here comes Hermie Sadler. He's right now in the 8th position. He's on the lead lap.
last car on the lead lap.
Got in the position, that white car up there in front of him, Mike McLaughlin, his position.
26 laps to go in the Napa Auto Care 250. And the interval between Jeff and David now is 0.6 of a second, with Santerre, Parker, Atwood, and Parsons the top 6. Back in a moment. Our Busch Series, that's Greg Zipadelli's wife, Nan Zipadelli, who is the PR person for Hermie Sadler, and she is watching her driver complete the 230th lap here at Pikes Peak, and once again we see David closing in on Jeff for the lead.
You can see just one car length between these two cars.
20 more, buddy. 20 more laps to go. That's good.
Several drivers are having their best runs of the year. David Green's best finish this year was 3rd at Texas. He's now 2nd. Andy Santerre's best finish this year, 6th at Loudon. He's 3rd. Hank Parker Jr.'s best finish so far, 5th at Loudon. He's 4th. And look at this mess involving Mike McLaughlin and Dick Trickle. That's Grubb on the outside and Johnson back there in the 92.
And Jay Sauter's in that group. Ashton Lewis. This is the 48 car. He is currently in the 8th position. The dual pump on board. He looks back at this group of cars. Oh! Jay Sauter watched that between Trickle and Kevin Grubb as he almost made contact.
Back up front, David Green now within a car length of Jeff. Less than 18 laps to go. David's going to go to the high side or look to the high side. Now he's got a good run coming off. Will be able to go to the inside. Oh, unable to get the nose of that car to the inside of Jeff.
Just trying to keep that car free, trying to get a run off that corner.
Ray has more on David Green as he challenges again.
Bob, David Green is on the radio saying the car's a little bit tight, but he doesn't care about that right now because it's been 69 races since he went to victory lane at Myrtle Beach back in 1996. You think this guy doesn't have some incentive? A lot of talk in the garage area as to whether David Green will return with his team next year. A victory could really, really help.
He's going to try the high side now.
He's got position. He's got it. He saw his crew waving him off. Said, go, David, go.
Not yet. Now as they come off the corner, David Green has the lead.
But now he's got to maintain the lead. He's got to stay in front. Can Jeff Green get a run on the outside? Can he pass his brother on the outside? Too many laps to go. Man, oh man.
15 more laps. 15 more. They look again.
And these laps take about a half a minute, and they're going to feel like about a minute to David Green.
David started 2nd last week at Nazareth, finished in the 18th position.
They didn't take your time. They take your shot. You're the man now.
Harold Holly,
Running on some slow cars here now.
Harold Holly, the crew chief, watching David Green. Watching Jeff Green, I should say, his driver. And there's David's guys clapping, cheering. Jeff's got a great run off turn 2.
Boy, you could see him in the middle of the corner with a good run. Here he comes down the backstretch, gets to the inside of David, and David holds him off, but now Jeff in the middle of the corner pulls ahead once again. And Jeff Green goes back into the lead, Jerry.
And Bob, a week ago, Jeff and David Green, as you said, started side by side up in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. Jeff Green said, you know, David, we have never, ever raced side by side on the final lap of a race. Wouldn't it be great sometime before our careers are over to be able to battle each other brother to brother for the final lap for a win? He didn't realize it would happen 1 week later.
Oh, and a car in trouble, Justin Labonte. No caution. Labonte keeps going, no caution. Only once in Busch Series history have brothers finish 1st and 2nd. That was back at Myrtle Beach in 1993 when Jeff beat Ward Burton. There is Justin Labonte, who has the car rolling again, so no caution, but it did separate 1st from 2nd just a little bit.
It looked like David Green might have backed off a little bit for that caution flag. He thought that the caution flag might come out. Jeff Green did not back off, and we see the advantage. It's about 0.6 of a second.
And we've got 11 laps to go in the race now. David is 42 years of age, and Jeff is 37. Coming down for 10 more miles of racing remaining.
Now it's Jeff Green's crew to do their cheering and clapping as he goes by.
Mention a few drivers having their best run of the year, a couple of others. The 59 car of Phil Parsons, his best finish so far this year was a 10th at Richmond. He's currently in 5th position. And also the 30 car of Hermie Sadler, his best finish so far this year, 11th at Nazareth, and currently he is in 7th position. As we now have less than 9 laps to go, and the interval increasing a little bit. 79 hundredths of a second between first and second. Jeff Green, so far in the year 2000, has 4 victories. They have come at Richmond, South Boston, Myrtle Beach, and Milwaukee. He has 8 career wins.
And right now, he's being able to put some distance on the 34 car. His brother, David Green. It's up to 85 hundredths of a second, the difference between first and second.
More times, buddy. 7 more.
Jeff Green's only race previous here was last year. He started 4th, finished 4th, and he hang on.
Looks like he can. We saw the face of Harold Hawley just a moment ago, and that anxiety. Can he stay in front? Can he last the rest of the way? There's Michelle. Jeff Weiss as she watches. But I saw some anxiety in Harold Hawley's
baby. You're the man.
face last Sunday night in Philadelphia when we had some weather. We wondered if we were going to be able to get back to Charlotte, North Carolina. This is the same car they raced at Nazareth last week. They were concerned about being able to get home, get the work done to the car they need to have done, and get it out here to Pikes Peak. Looks like everything worked out fine.
Done it very well, yes. 5 laps to go, and last lap it was 1.09 seconds. This lap 1.18. So indeed, Jeff is pulling away from David. Santerre remains 3rd, Parker 4th, and Phil Parsons in 5th position.
Watch the entire field go by. And off turn 4 is Jeff Green, the yellow car. 4 to go. A second lead, 1 second lead.
Four and 57 are battling for position. Neither on the lead lap, but this is the race for 12th position. Jeff Purvis and Jason Keller as they come up on P.J. Jones, who is back in 40th position. Just 2 cars not on the track here as we near the end of the race. Behind the wall are Bobby Hillen Jr. and Tony Raines. And speaking of rains, we saw a little bit during the middle stages in this race, just very light rain. But so far, not enough to stop the race, and we are going to get it completed. There's Michelle, Jeff Green's wife, as she can only bite her nails for just 2 more laps. 2 to go. He is making a shambles of the championship. The largest margin in the history of Busch Series championship was in 1984 when Sam Arndt beat Jack Ingram by 426 points. And coming into this race, Jeff had a 499-point lead, and he's on his final lap of the race. Less than a half a mile to go for Jeff Green. Fifth win of the year for Jeff Green. His 9th series win and his 3rd on a super speedway. His 15th top 5 finish. And 17th top 10 in the 20 races so far in the Busch Series. You see the other finishers as they come down to cross the line. David Green second.
You beat up the stand. That's what you want.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Well, Jerry, go ahead.
Well, down in the middle of this celebration with Harold Holly, 33-year-old crew chief Harold, once again, a great effort today, but it got a little dicey there in the final 25 laps with the older brother.
Yeah, I tell you what, David was pretty good there. We was a little bit too loose there most of the day, and we made several changes this morning because it was hot yesterday afternoon. It felt like the track was going to tighten up all day, and the car stayed good and fast that way all day. But I tell you what, it was a bear for Jeff to drive. He got up on that steering wheel and did it in that street Chevy all day. He stayed right on after. There at the end, David got underneath him and got him a little bit loose. Go back after him and use the air off of him, push him right front. Take your time and hit your mark, and he did. When he got it back, same little heat in that right front, he went on with the thing. Jeff Green's a machine. I'm telling you what, he was just awesome.
Hey, go to celebrate, congratulate your driver. Hey, he gets a little bit of water from Jerry Kinnon, the crew chief for Ron Hornaday. He won last week. They get some high fives. The winning driver doing his donuts and celebrating as we get ready to talk to Jeff Green on his 5th win here in the year 2000. What a dominant season he has had so far, Bob.
Indeed, Jeff Green wins here at Pikes Peak, and we will talk with him in Victory Lane when we return. Jeff wins the Napa Auto Care 250. Which this racetrack is named, that's Pikes Peak, and at Pikes Peak International Raceway, Jeff Green wins the Napa Auto Care 250. And Jerry Punch, it's all yours.
Well, he jumps down off the car, and back in Owensboro, Kentucky, Dave and Jane Green are seeing their baby boy, Jeff, get his 5th win here in the year 2000. And what a great effort. But big brother, older brother, giving you a little tussle there in the last 20 laps or so.
Jerry, been waiting for that moment for a long time for David and Mark and myself to be racing there at the end. And, man, nobody else I'd rather be beside than David Green. And he had an awesome run, but so Nesquik Chevy wasn't giving up to the last. He must have got tired or something, but our car was just so loose, and I just drive my heart out there at the end. And thank good Lord for Nesquik and Chevrolet Monte Carlo and Goodyear and everybody who helps this PPC race team. They give me an opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm very blessed to be sitting in the seat.
When David got by you, what were your thoughts? You thought maybe you were going to have to run him in the last few laps, and then the 44 car had a problem, I guess, and he had to back out.
Well, he got by me. He's a little better than I was, and I was just trying to hound him there and make him loose, and I got another run on him, and, you know, I just got by him then and got an opportunity there at 44 to get a little gap on him, you know, but he had a great race. I knew he was going to have to race him to the end, but it worked out good for us today. It's the 5th win of this season. Harold Holly and all them guys over there, man, they're awesome. They make my job easy.
That'll be tough on Mom and Dad sitting back in Owensboro, Kentucky, knowing they got 3 boys racing, and 2 of them are about ready to go side by side for the checkered flag.
Well, I hope they're living for that. You know, they gave us the opportunity long ago to get this started in go-karts and helped us along the way, and my dad, my granddad, and everybody involved, this is for them. And I hadn't got a chance to say this is for Adam Petty and Christian and Kenny Irwin, man. I miss them so much, and this is all for them.
We all do. Congratulations. Jeff Green gets win number 5 and remembers some very special people as he hugs Michelle here in Victory Lane. Bob?
He led 169 of the 250 laps, and it is the 5th time this year that Jeff Green has led the most laps, and he brings home another victory for himself and the group. Back in a moment. You see some beautiful blue sky as we look north. But this shot, as we look to the west, shows some dark clouds. It also shows that finishing second in today's race was David Green, and Ray is with him.
Well, David, it appeared to me that your car was a little bit better on the long run and Jeff's a little bit better on the short run, and that was the difference today.
Well, it was. It looked like the race was going to go green. I hate to see those cautions. And on that last restart, you know, he was a little slow when his tires were down on pressure, I guess, and my car was good. And so when I made the pass, you know, I think his kind of came to him. And with about 3 to go, mine got better. But if it would have, could have, should I got to thank my sponsor, AFG, has stuck with us all year. We've struggled a lot of times, ran good at times, but just struggled, didn't have a good finish. Sika. Now we have a new associate, Dr. Pepper, and I got to thank all those people in my crew. Today we finally found what we were missing on this race car, and we struggled a lot of times scratching our head, but got to thank my guys. But yeah, it's good to race Jeff, and but it's about time that I get over there, not him or even Mark there. So, but it's a good day.
Well, it's your first time here to Pikes Peak, though, and this team's got some momentum with your best finish of the year.
Well, yeah, and like I said, we ran good everywhere, Ray, but we just haven't finished it and put it on the board. But yeah, first time I saw this place, I said, this is like a little Michigan, and I enjoy going there, and it hit off just right. But we got good race cars, good motors with Hutter, and we just got to put the whole package together, and today we put it together maybe 3 laps short, but we'll take it and go on to St. Louis.
Okay, looks like things are turning around for the 34 team now. Back up to Bob.
Well, 20 races now are completed in the NASCAR Busch Series for the year 2000, and let's take a look at the point standings. Ron Hornaday moves into the top 5, gaining a position from Elton Sawyer, and David Green moves up tonight. Tony Raines down to 10th, but everybody stays the same, and Jeff increases his points.
Some families do.
Here are the unofficial results now. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 7th had their best finishes of the year 2000. And for Phil Parsons, it was his first top 5 since March of 1999 at Darlington, South Carolina. There you take a look at 16 through 30 as several cars just didn't have very good days, including Todd Bodine. We always expect Todd to run a little bit better, but he did not have a good day. Just 2 cars out of the race when the checkered flag fell. And looks like that Jerry Punch was with Andy Santerre, so let's get the interview, Jerry.
And last year, Andy, you came from 20th to win this race. This year from 16th to finish 3rd. Outstanding effort for the Lance Chevrolet.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm really excited for this team. Lance is a great sponsor. We have Bull and Hannah's on board, and real happy for them. But for the most part, I'm happy for Ed and Sam Renzi. They worked hard building this race team. This is our best finish so far. This is our sophomore season. So just thanks to them for giving me the opportunity. Thanks to all the guys on the team. They worked great today, did great pit stops, and that's why we ended up here in 3rd. So I'm real excited about this.
Andy Santerre able to smile, Bob, finishing 3rd here today.
And we also had a new race record here by 14 miles an hour, average speed 118.406 miles an hour. Overhead, Jeff Green wins. Here's Ray with Hank Parker Jr.
Well, thanks, Bob. Second top 5 for Hank Parker Jr. This team's really made a lot of improvements. You got to be proud.
Yeah, we are. We had a tough day. We started off the day way tight and fell back pretty fast. So we made some adjustments today, and we normally kind of hinder on those, but we made some big adjustments and made the car pretty good. So we were good in the second set. We just didn't loosen it up enough there at the end. And, I'm just proud of my whole team, and I thank Rick Raffin and all those guys for standing behind me and not giving up on me. So, we're real proud of that.
Okay, good. Now where do you want to go?
Now back to you, Doc.
All right. Thanks, guys. Phil Parsons from 20th to 5th. What an outstanding effort. Your best finish of the year. You got to be awfully happy.
Well, we really are. I can't say enough for the Kingsford guys. They've worked extremely hard all year, and we haven't had any results. So hopefully this is the beginning of things to come. I want to say Marcia and the kids, I'll see you tonight. And for the celebrity spokesperson in the booth, you got Bob Jenkins. I want to say hi, Bob. We had to do something for, Bob's only a Busch race of the year, so we had to do something special for him.
That was awfully nice of you to do it for Bob and Benny up there. Phil Parsons finishes 2nd 2 years ago and 5th here today, Bob.
Congratulations to Phil and everybody who had a great run here today, including Jeff Green, who wins the Napa Auto Care 250. Well, thanks for joining us here today at Pikes Peak International Raceway. Coming up next, thrills and spills. Don't forget the Brickyard 400 coverage, our next Winston Cup event, which will be coming up, our coverage beginning a week from Thursday. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com, part of Go Network, go.com.